Hey guys, before we get into this week's video, please forgive the echo in this room because I'm just moving into my new office, but I know that healing is not easy. I know that it may seem like a daunting task, and I know that there are days where you feel like, number one, you don't want to feel like this anymore. Number two, healing and rebuilding just seems really daunting and exhausting, and it seems like you're going to feel like this forever and that there's no end in sight and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I want to provide you with links to all of my coaching options if you are interested in getting the support that you need, regardless of what you're going through. Please click the links below for information on my private coaching, where we will begin to work together to really help yourself heal and rebuild after what you have been through. If you are also interested in doing any of my online courses, which I always recommend because it's a great ability to have all of the content, all of the information that you need at your disposal when you need it. So the videos, the audios, the reading material are all there for you with no expiration date. You can use them as many times as you need, and like I said, do it as quickly or as slowly as you would like to. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope you find comfort in knowing that healing is possible and you will get through this. Now let's get into this week's video. Grieving is something that we're not taught how to do, and I think oftentimes we don't want to grieve because who wants to really feel any amount of pain? No one. We always want to go towards pleasure and feeling good, and unfortunately sadness and grieving is just a part of life. In this video I want to give you some tips that can help you if you are grieving the loss of anything. It doesn't matter what we're grieving, whether it is a divorce, a breakup, a miscarriage, a death, change, a loss of something. Grieving is a loss. And so let's go over how we can learn to grieve in a healthy way. Number one, give yourself time. Unfortunately, there is no timeline for grief. It can last years, it can last days, it can last months. And I think the more you obsess about wanting to know when it's going to end, when this pain's going to end, the more the pain kind of stays with you, because what you're doing is you're judging the pain. You're not allowing yourself to actually feel the pain. That way you can deal with it and start moving on. So grieving and moving forward and not staying stuck in grief is about feeling and moving. And so if we're doing that often enough, we're going to eventually reach a place where, I don't want to say we've cried all of our tears or we've felt everything that we need to feel, but time will give us the ability to actually heal from our grief. Now, that doesn't mean that in 3 years that you couldn't think of something or catch yourself on a bad day or a vulnerable day where you don't feel the sadness creep up again. Grieving ebbs and flows. And so when it comes up again, there is no judgment. When we judge, we do not actually sit in it for a second. If we don't sit in it, then we can't move through it. Having people to talk to is another really big thing. Talking with people, whether it's someone that you don't know, like a therapist that you're, starting to build a relationship with, or a coach, or if it's family or friends, just being with someone and discussing something and getting it all out to the point where you feel emotionally drained and you're done talking about it, or you feel that you've cried all those tears for this session and now you're done with it, and then you can move into laughter. You can't really experience happiness or laughter or anything if you haven't actually let go of the feelings and the emotions that you yourself wants to experience, so you can actually get to that other side of laughing and enjoying and being still and not always feeling this severe sadness that you feel right now. When you're going through a grieving process, there are definitely things that you need to do in order to take care of yourself. Getting enough sleep, exercising, making sure that you're eating right, getting outside in nature. But let's be honest, all those things you should be doing on a daily basis, regardless of going through this point in your life where it seems very challenging to kind of get up and do the everyday things. So when I say give yourself time, I mean that there are going to be days where you will work out and you will get enough sleep. And then there are going to be days where you don't, because that wasn't the priority. The priority was to just sit in a little bit of sadness for the day, and accepting that today's the day that I'm allowing myself to sit in this. And tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to start moving. And whether it's just getting up and taking a shower, getting up and going to work, or getting up and doing something, when we also focus on someone else aside from ourselves, it helps us to move through this process a little bit easier. It allows you to not stay stuck in the grief and the sadness for too long where it becomes unhealthy for yourself. No matter what you're doing to incorporate into your day-to-day life to help you through this process, the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is not judging yourself for feeling the way you're feeling and letting out the anger, the sadness, the frustration, everything, and experiencing the feelings and the emotions, not staying stuck there, trying to move yourself forward no matter what the situation is for you, whether you are dealing with a divorce, a breakup, a death, a miscarriage, a loss of a job, whatever that is. I think it's important to set goals for yourself, whether they're little ones or big ones, to kind of get yourself moving. We don't want to stay stagnant in a place of sadness. We do want to set goals for ourselves, as well as putting the needs of someone else above our own at times. Again, this is all balance. This isn't like we're just going to dive into a new job or we're going to become obsessed with our children and just solely focus on them. But having some really healthy distractions are good, as long as we're also doing the emotional things that we need to do in order to actually experience the grief that we're feeling, which is feeling our feelings, which is validating them, which is soothing them, which is not judging them, which is not giving us a timeline as to when we're going to be okay. If you can do those things, you will move through grief a lot quicker, and balancing with setting some goals, focusing on someone else aside from just yourself. Those two things, if you balance that, it will really help you to gain momentum to keep moving forward. So I hope this video has helped you. If you did, don't forget to please share this with anyone who you think might benefit from this information, and I'll see you next week.